Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever it is or wherever you are in the world right now. I just want to say good morning. I hope your day is going wonderful and great. We are back at it again. We are diving more into conversation as to what's happening around us. Today, I have the honor and the privilege to have my daughter in love, my son's wife, who's going to be speaking with me today to give her take on being a young mom in this this area of COVID-19, racism 400 plus, and we're just gonna have a conversation. And this is what we do. Me and my girl, we have conversations before all this COVID stuff hit about different things. So today I introduce you, without further ado, my wonderful, the mother of our own wonderful Prince Row, Chelsea.
Hi.
Isn't she beautiful? Chelsea, how you doing, sweetie?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not even going to say a new normal. I refuse to categorize this situation as being normal. There's nothing normal about not being able to be with our family and our friends, loving on one another, especially during this time where we have this wonderful bundle of joy in our lives now.
Yeah.
But we're going to get down into it, have this conversation. I wanted to talk to you, being a new mom, of a son.
Yeah.
The next generation coming in that's going to be, taking my place. I don't want to always have folks that are my age and around my age talking about these discussions. I like to bring in the youth, the younger folks, the as I call them, the for real adults that are handling business. And you guys are definitely handling the business. So, sweetie, I want to ask you, because I was shocked that your husband hadn't seen, the video, which I understand. That was my assumption that everybody had seen it. But I understand some folks just can't take it. And in light of, we just had another situation that happened last night in Atlanta. So it's all over the place. But what I wanted to ask you, sweetie, did you see the video?
Just want to say that I was in the same boat as Mazel, how he felt for a minute. I just knew how I am about videos like that. So I did not see it initially. I just couldn't bring myself to do it, knowing how it would really devastate me. So, but unlike Mazel, I ended up watching it. I need to watch this. I need to watch this. So I watched it. That kind of, I can't even tell you how I felt watching that video. It was just watching something like your eyes are looking at it, but your brain is not comprehending what's happening.
Exactly.
It's just there's no way that I'm watching this video. There's just no way. So it's just, of course, before I even watched it, I heard about it. I know that he died. I heard the details of the video, but once I had more information and I saw the video, he was calling out for his mom and figuring out his mom was died 2 years ago, and it was just, everything just came up to be so much in that one video, and it was something that is historic. This isn't the first time this has happened, but I believe it's the first time this has happened with so much unrefutable proof of what we've been saying for so long.
Right.
Yes, there has been other cases like this and similar cases where recordings and body cams have been put to evidence and shown, but it was something about this video in particular that just, unleashed the gates of hell, I would like to say. Okay, a race of people.
Yes.
You know what? Something broke. I felt the snap, within our community, and I'm very unapologetic for it.
Yeah, I've heard everything from, it was like labor. It was like your water has broke, and we've been through labor, so we know what that is.
Yeah.
And like I told Alicia, I said, when I saw it, I told her, for me, everything stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I'm watching it in slow motion, frame by frame by frame by frame.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, when he got to the point where he called out, for his mother, I told Pooh, I said, I no longer saw Mr. Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
I heard him.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me to a place. I mean, when I say the face was wet,
mm-hmm.
it was wet. And then finding out that his mom was already deceased,
mm-hmm.
that just put the icing on the cake. I was like, then I went to another area of visualization of seeing, that. And I agree. Right now, we are in a position where it's no longer in the dark.
Right.
It's no longer where we have been saying it all along. It's no longer there's no proof. This particular one did something different
mm-hmm.
to people.
Mm-hmm.
And it did something different to our young people, to your generation. And it's like between that old enough to kind of sort of understand to, late 30s and,
mm-hmm.
it just did something to that generation. And for me, I was like, they've been listening to what grandma and grandpa said.
Mm-hmm.
They've been listening to the teachers, that's actually giving them some real African-American history.
Mm-hmm.
They've watched videos, they've seen some things, and because we're in a situation where we are forced to be at home more,
mm-hmm.
they're starting to do more research on a lot of these things. And it was like you said, it was like the gates of hell just bust wide open,
mm-hmm.
And here comes the flood.
Yeah.
And now that we're in it, I mean, this is the longest. I mean, and the protests are growing more and more. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, mm-hmm. bigger each day. And conversations are starting to
mm-hmm.
happen. But I want to be able to see the conversations that aren't scripted.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to be in the room at the table when we're having a one-on-one, either however many conversation. Where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm.
And through your eyes, as a mom of a beautiful, beautiful bouncing baby boy, what do you see? Because you get to see it from different lenses like me. You get to see it from a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see it from a wife. You get to see it from a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk to that part.
Mm-hmm.
What does mommy see?
I'm new to this mom thing. And to be introduced to such a strong, first, heavy obstacle is lesson worthy. Okay. I'm just like, my son he doesn't know what he's in the midst of right now.
Right.
Okay. And that's fair. He's a baby. He should not know. Mm-hmm. But as a mother who's aware and who's always felt this overwhelming compassion for humans in general, mm-hmm. but especially for the plight of African Americans in this country.
Mm-hmm.
As a mom, I look at my son and I say to myself, what we're going through right now needs to work. Because I have these instances where I just daydream about a scenario mm-hmm. where, let's not go straight to police brutality, right? Let's say we at a grocery store, we getting some stuff, we going on a family vacation, and I'm confronted by a white person who completely ignorant, okay? They're racist and they come towards me near my son. Like, they have no regard of me and my son. The amount of I'm sacrificing everything in that moment to protect him.
Yes.
Like that amount of I will do everything, anything. Mm-hmm. And I mean, true to those words, to protect my son and my husband. Just because the men in my life right now, when you look at them, you won't say, okay, they're not the typical, skin color of an African American. African Americans have an array of skin color. Yes, they're light skinned, but when faced with policemen or anybody of authority who is the manifestation of the system we're in right now, and who've been trained to think as such, that doesn't matter. So I feel like, as from a mother's standpoint, I really want to be out there with the protesters, but I can't because he's young, and I got to make sure he's safe in this COVID, all these factors. But he's the reason why I'm so antsy and so I'm unrestful. Every night I dream about being in a protest, or I'm thinking about what I can do to help. I'm always, my brain these last couple of weeks has been looking at stories, articles, what's been happening with the protests, how are the policies going to change. I'm seeing how big corporations and companies are, lending their support or not lending their support, regardless of their means to want to do either, to see the shift in how they are going to change our society as we know it. And I need it to work, because I feel like if these more and more videos are coming out and more situations are happening and people aren't responding, I fear that how we as a new generation will respond, they won't like it. And if you ask me, I don't want to get off topic, because let's say that somebody say, people who don't understand, they'd be like, all these rioters and, looters. And I look at them and I'm just like, that's what you see when you think of Black Lives Matter. You immediately go to the rioters, it's so destructive. I got to destroy property. Is that what's important right now? Yes, right. Some buildings got looted. Yes, some property got stolen. Yes, some businesses are losing money. But people in your society to which you look for them to support you are dying because of the color of their skin. So I can't say I have any compassion or any kind of I can't say that I really care. I'm just being honest. I can't say that I care.
Be honest, be honest.
I can't say I care. And overall, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I am. But there's a bigger stakes at foot here other than your property.
And those individuals, for me, those individuals that was doing the looting and there's difference between looting and rioting and protesting.
Yes.
I'm talking about the protesters. I'm talking about the ones that's there for the cause. Yes. Who are screaming at the top of them. You can see the emotion. You can see the passion. I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about the ignorance and the stupidity that's walking out there. That's destroying people's. That's what they're there for, to deflect to remove the focus from what we're supposed to be looking at.
I have to disagree a little bit, kind of a bit with you, because not all the looters are African American, right? But let's just say they are, okay? And somebody I watched was able to eloquently put together in words what I was trying to express to people. Okay, you have people who are more likely poor, that are struggling so much, they find it necessary, opportunity, it ain't gonna happen again, to get those things. They're stealing blankets, toilet paper, clothes, socks, baby formula, TVs. They're risking their freedom as to not be locked up or in prison for these items.
Right.
Now, what does that say for the Black community? That says that they are struggling. They need help. People are focused on, they're doing this bad, but why? Black Lives Matter. We're protesting, right? For what? Because of X, Y, and Z. Please look at the cause, and that is the result. Because,
Right. Because and when I say looters and rioters, I understand, because a lot of us are in survival mode right now. So those they don't have the supplies that they need, and they're going in to get what they need. They're taking what they need because it's not been provided for them. That's survival mode.
Yes.
You know, you gonna risk life and limb to go in to make sure that your baby can eat. You know, I get that part. I'm talking about the other ones. I'm not talking about the ones that are, I'm talking about the ones that, okay, since I see what they're doing, but I'm just going to go and I'm going to do some more stuff. You know, I'm talking about those individuals, because everyone that has gone and taken some, they've got a reason for it. You know, if you're in survival mode, and Lord knows, I know what that looks like. I know what that feels like, walked in it, you know, and like you said, it goes to show the unbalance of the system. You know, and it also goes to show your emotions can be just that high. If you've ever gotten pissed off enough where you literally say, you know what, to hell with it. And you might have hit something, smashed something, you know, tore something up, you know, that's what people are. Because
it's a human condition. What you mean? Like, just because we're Black and no, it's a human condition across the board. When we're upset, there's an off chance that we're probably gonna get angry, some gonna get hit, or some kind of expression of our emotions gonna happen. So I understand what the people are saying, but you gotta accept the good with the bad at this point. And this much bad that happened over the course of 400 plus years.
Yes.
The society that has worked, they called us lazy. They say, you know, pull yourself out of the bootstraps and, you know, get to work and make yourself in America. And I'm like, you know what? Some curse words for you, sir. Okay? Some curse words, I'm not gonna say that you record. Some curse words for you, sir. Okay? There's so much that we have to still do. Okay? We're two educated African American women. Okay? Okay?
Yes.
And we've had our fair share of struggles to get employed. We did it the traditional way. We went to college, you know, we got our degrees and we applied to jobs and say, oh no, you don't, we went in a different direction. Or, oh, you're highly qualified, you're too qualified, or it's a difference in climbing the American ladder being African.
Especially being an African American woman, and you, like you said, we both have seen what that looks like, you know, and they find different ways to say it. You know, you're overqualified, you're underqualified, you're not this, you're not that. But then you look and then what gets me is that somebody comes in that you have to train.
I don't say. I mean, sometimes I be feeling like certain, like I won't say the other night, because I've been up, I would say twice this week to 3 a.m, being sucked in by, you know, African American articles, historic, all this, just like raccoon eyes, just reading everything. And I read this article about how countries are like, look, if the U.S. don't appreciate you, come over here, right? And like that's tempting. Real tempting, but a bigger part of me is like, we've sweated and bled so much here that we have no choice but to fight it out and continue to literally make a place for ourselves. Because if we just gave up, or not gave up, if we just decided, you know what, they're not doing it, let's leave. It will relieve a lot of stress for our community. But when it comes to what the people before us suffered, I feel like we owe them so much more.
Right.
Because they didn't choose this life. And as a family of where we came from, we have to, you know, honor them. And they didn't get beat, they didn't get sold, they didn't get raped, they didn't get murdered for us to, you know, not do this now. Because you know what I feel like? I honestly feel like that once that video happened, all our ancestors in heaven, like their spirits just channeled all down to us. Like, you know what? It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
I agree, because I'm like this, because it's like, oh, I got chills. Even when
me too. I'm over here getting
that's why I said they heard it. You know, you guys heard it, you felt it. You know, because it's so much passion. And not only did you hear it, did you feel it, you got some more folks that's coming with you.
Yes.
And some of these folks, I mean, I truly believe that they're being genuine and they're being real. Because I always believe when people show you who they are, believe them, good or bad. Right. Once they show you, believe them. And it's like we got folks it's just the spirit has fallen down, you know, and it's a lot more of us that we got to do some work too. And my thing is, I'm telling you, educate yourselves. You know, you out there, know what you out there for. You know, and this is one time we got to go back and look at that history so we can move forward. Yeah. But I truly believe this generation is not going to allow it to stay the same. Right. You know, I just feel that, and we are all in this together. And it's like I told somebody the other day. I said it's like Black Lives Matter. We're not disregarding anybody else. What we're saying is Black Lives Matter. If we're going to be the whole piece of the pie, then this particular ingredient to make this pie is needed. Mm-hmm. You need us. You might not want to admit it, but you need us. And guess what? We have every right to be in the ingredient. Mm-hmm. Because one thing about our people, we are compassionate. We are hard work. We're not lazy people. Mm-hmm. You know, we and if anything, we strive so much. We strive hard. We work hard. Heck, we love hard. Mm-hmm. You know, to make sure that we don't want to be that stereotype. They're just angry Black people. No, right now, yes. Right now, yeah, we're very angry. Mm-hmm. We're pissed off we're very angry. But you have to understand where that comes from. Right. You know, we're not saying, you know, of course you're never going to be Black. Mm-hmm. But you need to understand where all of this comes from. Mm-hmm. You know, and I've heard it through, you know, my grandmother, my grandparents, you know. And of course, some of them had it hard because some of them were interracially married, or, you know, whatever case may be. They had it hard, even harder. Mm-hmm. But even still, we still got that history where it's still in us, that we still got to be able to push forward and do what we're supposed to do. But, and I haven't been out to see it, but I'm hearing that a lot of Black people, white people are coming up to them, not knowing what to do or what to say. Mm-hmm. You know, I get that too. Okay, I understand. You may be shell shocked. Mm-hmm. Okay, but once you come out of that, mm-hmm. then let's sit down and have a conversation. Because I really do need to understand why you think I'm property. Why do you think I am property? Because if you cut me, I cut you. We both gonna bleed red. Why am I property? And why do you still have that fixated in your mindset that I am? I walk upright, you know, because of the shade, the melanin in my skin. What is that?
I've also, through my reading of, you know, past documentation of the interaction between white people in America and Black people in America, that some white people who are willing to understand and eyes of their being opened are those who, I would say, are victims themselves. Mm-hmm. to a mind frame of the government and people of power above them who are telling them these African American people are dangerous. They're dangerous. Be afraid of them. Don't respect them. They don't mean that much. You know, kill them if you want to. The police ain't gonna do nothing. We ain't gonna prosecute. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying they're not accountable, but I'm just saying that for those people who are like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm so unaware. My first answer is that to educate yourself on why you're so unaware, mm-hmm. and locate what you are unaware of. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to my sympathy, you know, I'm in a tough spot. Okay. My father is Caucasian. Okay. I know people are watching shocked. Yes. So, I had a conversation with him. I kind of snuck it up in there because I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna look, y'all. I was nervous. So I was like, look, because I know how I can get heat. I can get passionate, mm-hmm. and just be on the defensive. And I made sure before I called him, I was like, look, just take it back. There's no asking a question. Listen first. All that. So I was like, yeah, because he was asking like, what are y'all doing? I'm like, no, we're just cooking breakfast. And I introduced like, yeah, I want to kind of get into those protests because did you see the video? Like, I want to get in there. He's like, yeah, right. And I was like, he responded, it's just all the violence. And I was just like, okay. Consider my dad's condition, right? You know, he's at home and the only source of information he gets is from the media. Let's just pinpoint that. So he would have that intake of it's so much violence. But nevertheless, I did point out that I was like, is that all you see? Like, you understand why this violence is happening? He was like, well, yeah, because my dad, he's a very cool person, okay? I do believe he is not racist. I do believe that. But I believe that because of his skin color, he's not aware of what happens to people of color. You know what I mean? And I believe he's the kind of person who, when confronted with the information, he would absorb it and then understand. But there are always some contingencies on that point. So we talked it out, and he was trying to explain that he said if he was able to walk out there, he would be in a protest as well, which I know he would be.
Yeah.
I just feel like he needs further understanding of what it's like, because I don't think he like really thought about it. Like, he just sees me as his daughter, but the world predominantly sees me as an African American girl. And I go out in the street, if I am at a party and the police get there, they don't care who my father is. At all. So I made that known to him. So I want to further our conversation to see where his mind is completely, because a little fun. I don't know if I told you this, but his father, my grandfather, I met him like 3 times out of my life. He had racial biases, to be nice about it, right? And I have a distinct memory of like him like being weird or having a little like his being weird energy was weird when like we went on this family trip or whatever, like to Williamsburg or whatever for a day. And my dad explained, you know, he was from a different time and, you know, X, Y, and Z. I understood the information, but it still didn't make sense. I can understand it didn't make sense.
And I'm thinking, you know, that's your grandfather. You know, whatever his thinking was, you know, you're his grandchild. You know, and regardless of that, and I would say that the love would overpower that time period in his life. But that's not what it is. We're gonna be real. Reality dictate no, because they have more of that than they have the love for an innocent person. Like you said, dad doesn't see color. He sees his little girl. He sees his baby girl. You know, and like I said, you know, are on a, and also, like you said, have an opportunity to, you know, to educate him more, because had, you know, God decided to make you blonde hair and blue eyed, you know, people be like, oh, okay. And I know, yes, and I'm going to say this to the camera, yes, many of you sitting there like saying, yeah, what? Yes, we come in many shapes, sizes, and colors. So you don't know who our father, you don't know until you actually see all of us together. So people they got to get past that shock thing, like, you know, but you have an opportunity.
I do, but it's a very, 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 like, very, it's scary and sensitive, okay?
Yes, very.
My dad is at a certain age, and, you know, he's, y'all know, like, he's not saying he's old, I'm just saying that he's at a certain age where how everything is with him in his life, I don't want him to feel, you know, like I'm saying, you did this and you're bad and you did this. I don't want, that's why it's like a minefield. I have to be not careful, but I have to let him study the situation and introduce it in a way where, because I do want to have this conversation, but I don't want to like hurt his feelings, but I'm also don't care. It's like, I'm like torn. It's like, I want to talk to you about it because it's real right now. I want
because you want to talk to dad, and dad just happens to be a white man.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's why I said you have an opportunity, because you can go to him as a daughter, because that's who you are, daddy, you know, because I can remember, you know, I was little, and my dad took me and my sister out, and he almost got arrested because they thought that he had taken somebody's children. Okay, now mind you, you see my complexion. Okay, but when I was younger, I must have looked totally different because they were like, okay, that's not your child. You know, and this is coming from a Black man. You know, and it is very touching. I wish, you know, my dad was alive during this time right now, so I could go to him and say, Daddy, look, I need, you know, get a little more information, you know, about certain things, because it is a different, you know, we all come from different generations and backgrounds, and I say right now, from what I'm seeing, this generation trying to kill the curse. Yeah, they trying to kill that curse from all them other generations saying all this other stuff, you know, when they never took the time to really see, because they were conditioned, the generation before them and before them and before them, that we were nothing more than a property and we weren't, you know, capable of doing anything. You know, and, you know, this week coming up is a really strong week, you know, with anniversary dates and things like that. You know, we got Juneteenth, you know, you got, unfortunately, you got the anniversary of young George, I think it's Stinney Jr., who back in June 16, 1944, was executed at the age of 14. Oh, yeah. You know? So you have, you know, and look, but that was vacated in 2014. They found out he didn't do it. So this is a week of a lot of historical things. Not only are we in a historical time, you know, we're facing other stages of history that has happened, you know, and, you know, once all the protesting has, I'm not going to say stop because it's not going to stop. Once all the way people are reacting right now, and we move from this point to having a conversation, okay, that's great, but I want to know what's going to be done. Yeah. You know, because like I told, you know, Mizelle last week, I said, you know, I hope I gave him everything that he needed for him to move where he needs to go. You know, and you know, as you know, being the grandmother of Mr. Rowe, you know, I would hope when he gets 5 years old, 6 years, 10 years old, that we can talk about this from the history books. Honey, this is what happened when you were growing up. When you was born, this is what was going on. You know, so now you'll be able to do the things that you want to do without folks having to look at you twice. Right. You know, and just looking at, am I qualified? That's all. Just, am I qualified? Forget about what my name. Am I qualified? You know, so I guess now is, you know, what can society do? You know, they're waiting for us to tell them what to do. I'm like, look at your heart. Look at your heart. Because whatever you're carrying in there is going to come out your mouth. Look at your heart. Yeah. You know, and like you said, history, educate yourself. That's not for us to do. We already know what our history is. You know, and I was just turning the TV on, wanted to look at some movies, and I'm seeing all of these, you would think it was Black History Month. Yeah. All of these movies, I'm like, okay, now, the movies that you're showing are going to make us mad.
Right. Not only make us mad, but every year, February, Black History Month, I become really salty. I'm a salty African American woman because I watch Roots. I watch it, okay? And after I watch Roots, I look at every white person and I'm just like, Like, when I tell you, I'm very salty. Like, I have no type of, like, I'm not in 2019, 2020. I just, they take me back. Like, because in my mind, you know, because my parents, they can remember being segregated. They remember like the Dillards or Macy's in Richmond that only sold white clothes in the corner, or black clothes in the corner, or we had to walk on this side of the street because white people didn't like them near them, or they have these memories that she could literally pass down to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that close. It ain't like, oh, my great 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 grandmother, was sold. No, it's so close for us that even us today hears it. We know it. And the difference between then and now is that it's all whitewashed. Okay, it's all, no, y'all have equal rights. Y'all, I mean, y'all get opportunities. I mean, y'all, I mean, it's the same face of assumption. Y'all get this, and I'm looking at them like, we see it, but we don't have it.
No.
Like, it's written, but it's not dealt out. Okay, it's like in order to make a change for this protesting to even become more solid and encourage policy change, is to rewrite policy, is to rewrite laws. And then there's a second battle of reprogramming the human mind of white privilege and white people who believe or even are unaware of what they do or how they treat us. And it's two different battles. And I feel like it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be clean. Okay, there will be some people in African American communities like, you know what, let's do this strategically. People who want to, actually like target it in a different way. But there are others who do not think that way. And I'm not saying they're thinking wrong. I'm just saying they're thinking like anybody who's filled this kind of emotion. They want to be physically out there protesting, supporting Black businesses. It's two different avenues of methods to get things done. And I'm not gonna say either or is wrong or right. I think it all needs to be tried.
Right.
We know we're not gonna be murdering nobody. We're not gonna be, pillaging, none of that. I'm just saying that all methods should be tried in light of furthering these inequalities, like just not having them at all. Just even shedding light on them. I just see people now, I don't know if you notice, they're outing people. Like people in Richmond, oh, this company just has this saying, Black people should be shot, something like that. I was like, I didn't know that. Okay, like off my shopping list. It's like just exposing people is helping.
Because I mean, now we gotta wear these masks, but that mask that you can't see is now starting to be exposed. So and I need to know. This is definitely a teachable moment for me because I'm watching, what's been going on. I'm hearing and I'm seeing. Okay, really, this is how you think. Okay. All right. And my question: why do you think that? What are you basing it on? Are you basing it on an assumption of things that you don't know anything about, or a presumption where you got facts and evidence and saying otherwise? Because you need to distinguish what the two are. So I need to know what it is. Because
some people don't care. Some people, it frightened me. I saw on CNN, I don't know who the guy was, some older white gentleman. He was like, a reporter asked him, do you think racial inequality and systematic injustice really exist? And he was like, no. No, I don't think they exist. And I'm looking at him like, and the guy asked him 3 times. I believe he had some kind of political role in America, something. And he said no. And I'm like, he is in a position of power. And I don't know how long he had that power, like where he's been. But he has some position of power in America, and he don't believe that what's in front of him and what people are reporting isn't happening.
Right.
Or he's just not going to see it.
I remember being in a meeting one time, and we were talking about implicit. We were talking about biases and and how people view you and things like that. And I actually heard somebody say when they're looking through their applications, if the name wasn't right, they wouldn't even call them for an interview. That's how deep we run. So if my name isn't politically correct in your eyesight, you're telling me I'm not qualified based on that. So, okay. But you're in for a rude awakening. in for a major root. I mean, and it's something just as simple as your name. But they're saying, no, not qualified. And I had to sit there for a minute. And of course, you know your mom. I didn't let it go. No. And I'm like, what does that have to do with whether or not I'm qualified for a position? You know, my last name, before I got married, is Square. Mm-hmm. I guess that's the next thing I'll be checking. Where did that come from? Mm-hmm. A square, 4 corners. And it's really, there's no words for stuff like that.
And I feel like it's those stories, those instances that I hope people keep peddling out. I hope white America is overwhelmed. I bet, I know that they are. And I hope you continue to be overwhelmed to the point where you're like, oh, I gotta change. Oh my God. Like, if I hear one more story about somebody being treated so bad, or, like that kind of outrage needs to be happening. Because I feel like the reason why this is such a pivotal moment and why it's so strongly responded to is because I think the right amount of people in our generation are open enough, are considerate enough, and have a heart enough to see this is wrong. Wrong enough for me to risk my safety during COVID-19. Wrong enough for me to be out here every day in the hot heat telling you that Black lives matter, their souls matter, their feelings matter, they're not property, they're people. And I feel like that's the difference between the movements that happened during the civil rights and other protests that's happened. That we needed more allies, because us as the African American people, we clearly as Americans, we're not enough. We don't qualify, or we are not, seen in a certain light. And the answer is coming together. We need people like, the Black Lives Matter movement has reached other countries. Like government officials in the UK talking about telling the Prime Minister to say Black Lives Matter. Yes. I was like, wait. And then people in Germany, okay, are gathering together, and the overwhelming support, it just shows America like, we in trouble. Like, America, you in trouble. Yeah. White people in power, you're in trouble.
Because we didn't put it on your doorstep. Not that it wasn't there before, but when you watch this is a tsunami, because it's hitting, like you said, countries, and we're literally saying we have the right to have a seat at the table. We are not. We're a portion of that pie that you need. It's like bringing half a pie to a dessert table. What happened? First thing they're gonna say, what happened to the other half of the pie? It's so I have hope that policy. Yes, that we need a complete policy change, because which policies need to be changed, those that are not working,
and old ones that have been forgotten.
Right.
Like, there's some things we're doing, like, I'm like, that's still a law. Like, look, those not enforced. It's still written, to which if a police officer get a hold of that, they can find a reason to use it.
Yeah.
They ain't breaking the law. So, but that's not just policy change, though. It's also voting. In order to, right people in there, we need to look at people who are running and tell them, no, you ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna happen. So you might want to, reevaluate what you want to do. But I feel like it's also proof that the people speak. You work for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, we just, just do your bidding. You work for us. And I feel like this is a big reminder. And it came at a great time, because elections is coming up. And I did do my absentee ballot.
I did too.
I got it. I got to do it. Trump, Trump is a whole different, like, another 20-hour discussion. But let's just say that I pray that there's no kind of, well, actually, I got to really do pray because Atlanta, I don't know if you heard about their voting system.
Yes.
And I'm like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were blocks and lines of people ready to vote.
Mm-hmm.
People who never voted before voting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's
It's
mystery.
and voting. Put the people in the seats that can speak for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't just, you know, halfway think this thing. No, you need to vote. You guys sent me the information to get my absentee. The same day I sent it. 3 days later, I had my ballot.
Mm-hmm.
3 days later, in 1 week. So people, it can be done. Whatever state that you're in, get that absentee ballot. See who's going to do the research or whoever's running. Choose your person, send it in. Mine has been mailed. It's out the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we have to be able to, you know, and then hold those folks accountable.
Yeah.
You know, we are looking to you. And then when they have policies that come out, most policies that come out, there is a public notice normally that goes with it where you can put your input and your comments on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so later on when things start to really, I'm gonna find out where these are, so folks can know that read them.
Mm-hmm.
Take the time and read them. You know, and send them comments back in. You know, but we have to be able to put the folks in the seat that we know has the same passion and compassion to get this work done. There's a lot, and there's enough work out there. You're gonna have to have more jobs to handle what's going on right now. You're gonna have to have, you know, not just diversity and inclusion. Yeah, it's nice to be diverse, but include me at the seat, put me at the table. Mm-hmm. I'm not just here to fill a quota.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not just here to take. No, I'm not. I have a voice down to the smallest one. So if you're creating something in the neighborhood, you better go to that 5-year-old and ask them what they want, because they matter. Yeah. They matter.
And to answer your question, you know, what do we tell our little boys? Yeah. We tell them of our history, of always. It's like having a culture. We always tell our history as African American people in this country. But also, I would tell him, because I want to raise my son to be a fair human being. Like, I don't want to impose anything on him that disrespect who he is or who he wants to be. And I'm setting that standard for him, for everybody that he meets. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, he's my son, but also he's a human being that we created. And nurturing that life in that respect is everything. Mm-hmm. And know to people like, oh, you're gonna, you know, your children need to know that you're the parent and they're the son. That's a given, okay? Mm-hmm. They know that's mom and that's dad. And I want my son to look at me and say, my parents respected me, but they guided me. They informed me. They taught me how to be respectful and how I always should get respect. There's no earned respect. That's just a general, you know, outcome. I get respect wherever I go. If I don't get it, this is how I handle it. Now, I pray that when he is even, let's say, get 10, 11, 12, old enough to understand anything, that what we're doing right now has made an impact that he's aware of. Like, oh, Mom, I want to hear him come, like, from his grandparents' house, say, oh, we went to the movies and I heard these people say that, you know, everyone is equal and they care about anybody and everyone, and being racist is wrong. Like, literally hearing the things that matter to anyone, then that applies to him, you know, and he knows that he don't see no difference. He's like, oh, my friend who may be Asian, you know, any kind of color, they don't have to distinguish. You know what I mean? Like, right now in our culture, it's like, oh, that white person, this black person, this Asian person, even on job applications, are you white? Are you black? Are you Hispanic? It's delineated by color. Like, I hope he doesn't know that. I hope he knows that this is my friend, this is my world, this is where I live in, full of people, and we do different things. Now, I don't know how likely that is at him growing up, but I hope that these conversations are happening to where he knows that it's wrong to do this, you know. Mm-hmm. And everyone is talking about, not just the Black community saying, we're treated this way and it's not fair. Mm-hmm. Everyone is aware. Everyone is talking about it, and they're actively beating it. So hopefully he's in a world where it's being handled, mm-hmm. or it has been handled. So I just want him to be like really equipped with information. And a part of me still, knowing how slow America can be on change, I gotta arm him too. And I don't mean I'm giving him weapons. Mm-hmm. I don't mean I'm not giving him weapons. What I mean is that he will be intellectually protected. Mm-hmm. He will know all the instances that he can be trapped in as being an African American in any instance. And me having a criminal justice degree, I can literally give him like, look, this is where we're vulnerable.
Yes.
Okay. Now, to arm yourself, know that, for example, your dad got pulled over for quite a number of speeding tickets. So, and luckily, you know, it was handled smoothly. The officers were respectful. It was just the actual person doing the law. Okay. Right. Nothing crazy. But there have been too many instances where African American children have been pulled over and end up dead, hurt, mostly dead. And this is what you have as a right as a person. And if they don't respect you, be on camera. Okay. And I hate to say you have to be just say respectful, because they can treat you any kind of way. But at this present moment, that's what we deal with. But I will arm him with the information, and he will be trained in certain areas where he can defend himself, because my fear is me getting a call. Your fear is probably getting a call. You know, my whole work, I was cleaning something, and I was thinking, if I get a call, and I say, oh, ma'am, something happened to your son. He was, I don't know. Like, my world will be done. Mm-hmm. And I will give 0 curse words about anything, like the amount of savagery that can come up from a mom. Like a mom, forget my skin color, but a mom, I have never known such abandonment of everything that could happen to me. Like, something happened to him, that's it. Mm-hmm. Especially by a police officer. And look, dangerous stuff. I don't care. I won't have any kind of remorse type of thing. You don't have to lock me up. So, like, honestly, you don't have to lock me up. And then thinking about, like, I have a husband who, oh crap, like it's a lot of mothers and grandmothers who are gonna be locked up over some kids, like, because it's happening too much. It's happening at all. It's too much, but it's happening, and it's so many videos that's coming out now. It's this case where this so many names. I don't know his name. African American boy. I want to say teenage, and he had dreads, I want to say, and he was found with no organs. I think he was hanging upside down somewhere. I could be mixing up facts, but he was missing organs, right? And they ruled it a suicide. So basically, that case is reopened, and they showed the pictures of how he looked. When I tell you, like, bowel, like I could honestly get sick. I was getting sick. Like I was sick watching George Floyd die. I felt the bowel rose up, like I felt it, and it's sickening how and people are getting lynched. Boys and men are found hanging from trees. Mm-hmm. At some point, if the police aren't going to police everyone the way they're really policing us, things will get very, 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 very messy.
Mm-hmm. And see, we have one thing I can say with Roe, he has a system of record now. He can go online when he gets to be that age. He say, "Mommy, I saw you, not just on your, I saw you on your channel, my life." Yes, I'm making a plug here. Chelsea, my life actually, she has her own channel, and I will put it at the bottom so you guys can see it. So subscribe, leave comments, and all of that. Mm-hmm. But he can say, "Mom, I saw your channel." Oh, of course he was, they're gonna make fun, but then he's gonna see other parts of your channel. Mm-hmm. He's gonna see you talking about the serious topic, and he's gonna be like, "Wow, my mom did this," and he can hear those words. because we're gonna love him. We're his village. You know, me and Granddad, we're gonna love him and be there for him, not just him, but you guys as well, to let him know, you know. And it like you said, it should be a given that I shouldn't have to be overly respectful, you know. But for us, we don't have to be overly respectful because we respect authority. So if a cop stops, okay, you know, my thing is comply. And then afterwards, when you're home to the safety of your house, if there was an issue in that situation, then make your complaint known. But comply. You know, whatever questions they, you know, whatever, okay, you know, moving on. You know, because one thing about
that's true. That is true.
You know, one thing about those situations, because I don't know what he bringing to the party. You know, he don't know what I'm bringing to the party. You know, and I'm like, okay, now, okay, I hope this ends, or you know, on the right. You know, I remember being in college, and our apartment got robbed. I mean, they wiped us out, and a police officer came. And you would thought that females in the, you know, in an apartment by themselves, you would thought that you would say something as if, you know, I could be your sister, your daughter. No. First thing the officer says, let's be glad they didn't come in here and rape you. What? I can't sleep anyway in this apartment now because someone has violated my space. Now you gonna come with that? Really? You know. And then on the flip side, I've had some officers that have been extremely, you know, nice and cordial and things like that. Like I said, you never know who's gonna bring what to the party. You know, my thing is I want to leave the party with my life.
Yeah, right. It's a sad reality, but that's a
and who else has that much pressure on them when they get stopped?
I've been lucky. I have been fortunate enough. I have maybe had 3 run-ins with the police, all no kind of bad memory at all. That's my extent on my encounter with the police personally. But that's the reason why one of the reasons why I wanted to major in criminal justice is because my family has had encounters with police. And I've seen how, to me, the criminal justice system is like quicksand for African Americans.
Yes.
We're not aware. Well, we are aware, but we're not aware that of the rights we have. And though they're rarely accustomed to or agreed upon by police, but we do have rights, okay? Like you said, comply, because you don't know what they bring to the party. That's true. I mean, for us, it's survival. We don't want to die. We want to go home to our family. But sometimes, well, all the time, depending on if you're going to traffic stop or they're pulling you over or whatever, you have the right to say, hi, officer, what are you pulling me over for? You know? And they would say, oh, your tail light, or you did something at a stop sign, or I had a general description of a person who met your X, Y, and Z. You have the right to say, am I being detained? No or yes. The answer, no or yes. Am I being arrested? No or yes. So if you're being detained, you have the right to say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent. And I do not give you consent to search me, my person, my property, my car. No. And you just sit there quietly. Don't say anything. If you do say anything, so what? But when you invoke this silence, you remain silent. If they say you're being arrested, same conditions apply. And the thing is, I've seen so many videos where people get caught off guard because how the police approach them, guns drawn, that I don't think that registers in their mind. Because at that point, they're frantic. They're like, okay, I'm gonna die. Okay. And then they're doing all these things to, you know, try to accommodate, to appease the officer. And the officers are just come into it expecting. And me knowing the policy and how police officers are trained, that's not it. I feel like it's a culture. Once you get out the academy, there's something called the Blue Code of Silence. I don't know if you've heard of it. Remember my paper that I wrote? Oh yeah, okay, this big boys now. Look, they get out the academy. They are taught these distinct tactics on how to deal with people that you're arresting or you're trying to get to or whatever. Soon as they get out of the academy, and as soon as they're under the superior officers that are already in there, all the training crumble, okay? Only thing they know how to do is run after you, tackle you, cuff you, mishandle you, and maybe you'll get to the precinct. Maybe you'll get, a ring without no bruises. I'm particularly talking about people of color being the targets. Not anybody else. I don't know their story, but when it comes to African Americans being detained and arrested, we have these videos.
Mm-hmm.
This is proof. So that training, the people, we need to redo the training. Yes. Okay. Yes. At this point, yes, because what they're being taught are from an old system where these different things are happening. So, but when it comes to what needs to be worked on in police training is the people that's in it right now, the people that are teaching this, because it's a different culture. Like aside from the policy, like the police force is, let's say, a club. Okay, it's a club of people who, we get each other's back, we're here for each other, we're going to protect each other, but they're missing the mark on you protect the people in your society, the people of America, and the power go to their head. The power goes to their head. They believe nothing can touch them because there are actually things in place because of what they do protects them from the very actions they take to enforce the law. So it's that whole thing need to be restructured because a lot of people need to be fired. A lot of people need to be gone. And these people who are quitting, thank you for quitting, because if you can quit because you feel like we're being unfairly portrayed, then you don't understand. Because the New York union rep was on the news saying, I don't like how you're portraying our officers as being bad. We do this and then we do that, and I was looking like, ain't this ironic?
And so we're not talking about all officers. And you've been a member of law enforcement, and I'm like, and I there was a section in my dissertation where I wrote, they go into the academy one way, and they go on with the mindset, I just want to be there for the community. I want to help the people. It's like 4 stages. And that 3rd stage, they graduate. Now they're going into the field with that training officer. That's where everything changes. It's like everything else, that the reason why they got there, now that has changed. And this is not for all the officers. This is for those that are with that. And the training officer has got to understand that what you do, how you train this rookie, is going to determine the rest of his career. It's going to determine the rest of his career. So if you're out there showing one thing and you're like, okay, I guess that's where I need to be. No, no, absolutely not. You can get a lot of information without having to draw your gun and all this other stuff. And you need to know what role you need to be in. That's why we need other partners in this. You need your mental health people. You need your psychologists and your psychiatrists. You need all these entities there. So you can know what role you need to play. Because way back when policing first started, it was about order. Let me just make sure I get me some order by any means necessary. But that's not what policing is. So now all of that, needs to train. There are ways that you can de-escalate a situation.
And thing is, they teach you that. They teach you that 80% of the time or more, a situation can be de-escalated by talking, communicating. And sadly enough, it seems that the women of the criminal justice system or police force tend to do that more than the men. Now, you're right about how they go in one way, come out another. But also where the recruitment fails is the vetting. First of all, becoming a police officer should not be easy to do. Okay?
Thank you.
It should not take them 5 months to just only training at the academy to become a police officer. Okay? Just like becoming a doctor, a lawyer, anybody of power. Okay? They need to go to school. college, and they need to get a degree in criminal justice or in criminal psychology, whatever criminal.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then they should.
Which field do you want to be in?
Right.
Which area do you want to be in? Do you want to be?
And they don't. And aside from having the education, you know, being have a degree in the field, also look at the person's history. Okay. So many people in small towns, small counties can get a job because my cousin Greg works at the county sheriff department and they second easily. You know, it's not a favor. You should have the education, and there should be no type of criminal history, like marijuana, all that, to the side. I'm talking about literally how you view people. If you see an African American person, what do you think? If you see an Asian person, what do you think? If you see a white person, what do you think? All that kind of mental testing to be done for them, because it's too literally somebody's life is in your hand.
Yep. You
don't see doctors studying for a month. So I really feel like they need to place importance on vetting the people, for racist people, for people who don't know, you know, how to act around other people, someone who have like aggression issues. All of that need to be spotted, and they need to be then weeded out. So there's a lot of areas, and I felt kind of like upset a lot that it's 2020. This could have been done 20 or so plus years ago, and we could be that strong first world that y'all want to say we are, because right now we look crazy compared to the other world. We look like, I know America ain't having a civil, are they ready to have a civil war? Like, what's going on in America? Like, they treating their people like this. And it's just a lot to deal with. And especially in our corner of being an African American community and having the stigma that we do have on us, and having to raise our children in that and out of that. So it's hard.
We're going to see where it goes.
Yeah.
We're going to see where it goes. Chelsea, I love you. I thank you for taking the time to do this. We kept saying we was going to do, you know.
I had to get my hair done first because I was looking, it's rough out here. So I had to make sure that, you know, I didn't have no embarrassing row moments. You're like, Mom, you look tore up, Mom. I don't want to see that. I want to hear that. And my son, okay.
You look beautiful. And like I said, the next one we're going to lighten up the load, people. We're going to lighten it up, because we've been promised you guys that we're going to do something where we can really talk freely about other issues that we can talk about. But this was one of the ones that, you know, we need to put out there. And it also shows that, you know, the relationship that me and Chelsea have. You know, we're not typical. Some folks, oh, your mother-in-law. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. She is my daughter in love. And we have these conversations. We laugh about stuff. Before COVID hit, you know, we would be at the house back and forth and, you know, having these, you know, these conversations without, as we said, the boys around. And we just enjoy each other. You know, I learn from her. She learns from me. She gives me insight to certain things. I see a lot of her, you know, when I was at that age, you know, with the baby. And but the blessed part about it, you know, they're handling it. You know, this is what I call being grown for real. You know, handling their business, and do what needs to be done. And when things go, you know, a little crazy or whatever, and we sit back, we laugh about it, you know. So I love you. Just let me know when you want to do something. And again, people, check out her channel. It's Chelsea, My Life Actually. And this will not be edited. So all of you that are interested in hearing what we have to say and just watching our interactions between us, because this is not just about COVID and racism. It's about our family and the way we communicate. And I'm going to play this in its entirety. I'm not going to edit anything. So you will see this probably soon. It'll be on my channel, but it will also be on Chelsea. So she's going to do what she does because she's techno savvy and all that.
Look, I might not edit because we talk for a bit. Now look, my edits be quick, so I might type on a little intro and boom, run it. Cause
sweetie, I'm gonna let you have the last word. You know I love you. Kiss my boo boo for me, and let everybody know I care. I love you guys, and we will see each other soon.
Yes. Look, I'm praying. Look, I need to come get him. Come on, come on.
Where is Uncle quiet? Where is he? Is he sleeping?
No, he probably listening somewhere, driving his father crazy.
Okay. Well, sweetie, you know how we do. Mwah. I love you. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.